I think what a lot of people in like any type of industry, what they try to do is they try to sell you. If you come to the realization you're not trying to sell someone, if you're coming in there to provide them value and you're really sincerely trying to help them out, that's where it becomes easy.
What's up, guys? In today's episode, we talk with Ryan Sutherland, the owner of Suncoast Insurance Advisors. In our discussion, we talk a lot about marketing, sales, and growing a brand in a somewhat negative environment. Check it out. All right, so you're not a whiskey guy.
I am not.
Okay, but you're going to try some peanut butter whiskey?
Sure.
Okay.
I will succumb to peer pressure today. You know, this is kind of reminds me when I was a teenager, like drink.
Not college, but teenager?
Look, I was born in the South.
Ryan's got some past.
If we do, we all have demons.
All right.
Might have a hair to it. Yes, sir. All right. Let's take this. It's actually not that bad.
Yeah, told you.
It does taste like peanut butter.
Ryan, what do you do and what's your business?
So I dabble in insurance. So I do own an insurance agency, and with my wife and I specialize in property casualty insurance. Yeah. So I do like homeowners, business insurance, stuff like that.
What got you into selling insurance? And not health insurance?
Well, one of my good friends, I was looking for a stable job. At the time, I was in the alcohol business, not drinking, whiskey like this that had a nice flavor to it. I was in the alcohol business prior to getting insurance, and I wanted something stable where I didn't have to travel a lot. So there was this website called MySpace. I don't know if people are familiar with it. Some of you kids might not know.
I remember we are the ones that started MySpace.
Okay, so prior before everyone now had a Facebook, when it was you had to have an EDU to access a Facebook. I had MySpace. I had my little tune collection, my top 10 friends, and one of my friends was hiring at the time for his insurance company or insurance agency, and I applied. And the rest is history, but it wasn't something I really wanted to get into. I came in here and I thought to myself, I'm like, oh my God, I had to be behind a desk. How am I going to like this? And I sat down and I got to know people. And I think that was one of the biggest things that I liked. It's more relationship driven. I like understanding people. I like being around people. Granted, it's not the most sexy job in the world to talk about insurance, but it was something that I know that was going to be stable and everyone needed to have. So again, it's the stability that I was looking for.
Sure. You got good at it?
Not at first I didn't. I mean, I don't think everyone excels at it, excels at something that they just jump into.
Sure.
At first it was nerve-wracking. You had to understand the ins and outs of the industry. And I remember one of the things that blew me away was I remember my first heated client was upset with me because I wasn't giving them a full policy to cover the full coverage on their iPhone. And I remember that was the first time I had a heated, discussion with a client. He's like, I want it for this, what I paid for. But I'm like, well, that's not what it's valued at. And this is where it is. And this is like when iPhones were in their infancy. We're talking, the more of the brick layer, the one that probably weighed about 5 pounds, closer to like, your car phones back from the 80s. So, yeah.
Not like the Walkman that you're used to, right?
What? No, I had a Discman, man. I didn't have a Walkman. Walkman was way before me, bro. That's 80s. Even though I did live in the 80s, but I was like in elementary in the 80s, bro.
Sorry, I get thrown off by how you started your career with MySpace.
Yeah, I love it. I still love it. I was like, how did you get into it? MySpace.
Tom.
Yeah, Tom. Tom was one of my top 10 friends. So
let's take a moment here and crack open a Coke, eh?
All right. Do you want to do this for me? Because
I'll do it for you. Yep.
I did go to the dentist today, and I didn't want to lose any chiclets over trying to open that with my mouth.
By the way, this podcast is not sponsored by Coke.
I was talking with Trish the other day is that we now got into our house. We bought SodaStream. I highly recommend SodaStream. But so we make our own soda.
Like it carbonates whatever you put in it.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
What's the weirdest thing you've tried to carbonate?
We haven't really done anything. We just carbonated water. We haven't got extreme here. Like let's try different things because
You haven't tried to you haven't tried to actually make soda?
no, we have.
Oh,
but what
okay.
happens is you have to carbonate the water and then you add
The syrup.
the syrup. So
it's
it's
not
almost
real
like
soda.
we're taking. So we've now become a Circle K or a convenience store. So, but we do it by hand instead of having it injected. So we go here and we make our own soda, and it's delightful. But they don't do Coke products. So Coke does not have a contract. So it's Pepsi and then off-brand stuff. So they have something
Oh,
called.
but it is a Pepsi
It is.
product?
Well, they sell Pepsi, Diet Mountain Dew, Mountain Dew. They don't do Dr. Pepper because, Dr. Pepper is its own separate entity.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's delightful. But the thing is like if you get too much carbonation in it, dude, you're going to have problems with gas later in the day. So you're going to have problems. Yeah. So, yeah.
What is the best soda that exists?
Oh, man. Okay, so I've been to Atlanta and I've gone to the Coca-Cola factory. So I've tried all the sodas around the world. I'll tell you the worst one. Do not drink Beverly. If you ever have Beverly, it tastes like mouthwash. It's horrible. Horrible,
It's like a
horrible.
mint flavored soda or something?
No, it's not. It's just like what do they call it? What do they call like an after drink soda beverage? Like
a chaser.
no, it's like I can't remember what it's called. It starts with an A. Anyways,
Aftershave?
no, it's not after. Do you drink aftershave?
No, that's what I'm trying to figure out what you're talking about.
No,
I don't drink mouthwash. Well,
is
I
it
guess
an
maybe.
aperitif or what is it? I can't think of it. Not aspartame. That's what is in it. The aspartame is in it, but no. Anyways, it is a horrible drinking soda, and I drank it twice just to make sure that it was that horrible. But I like Big Red.
Interesting.
I like a good cream soda. I like a really good cream soda, but I don't know. But
I can respect that. I
don't like an
A
A&W. A&W cream soda. To me, it's kind of like a generic kind of watered down.
You don't like
cream soda.
normal cream soda?
No, but I like Big
Like-
Red. It's almost like kind of like a bubble gum,
like the cherry cream, or like a, sort of a cherry.
But I
cream
don't
soda.
like what's it called? Like everyone is obsessed. Like when you go to the Carolinas, when people get what's that cherry drink? They call it cherry.
cheer wine.
Yeah, cherry. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
I'm
not
not.
cream
I don't
soda.
want that. That's not cream soda.
No, cheer wine is closer to cherry Coke, but it has less Coke.
It's kind of like an in between Dr. Pepper and like cherry Coke.
I can see that.
Yeah, it's like the bastard cousin of like cherry Coke and Dr. Pepper. You're like, I don't know about this, but I would choose Mr. Pibb over this one.
Why is he a bastard cousin? Why can't he just be a cousin?
It's the one you don't want.
Why do we have to disrespect the parents?
It's the one they don't want to talk about. It's the illegitimate relative that you don't want to talk about.
So you're in insurance. You're doing
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
Like, when did you truly start excelling at what made you start excelling at it all of a sudden? What was the experience that came with it?
I think for me, it was easy. And for me, and I say this as
Well,
like,
you hold on. No, I'm going to come. You weren't good at it at first, you said.
no, it was, I wasn't good at it first.
What made
but-
you good at it?
I realized that I think what a lot of people in like any type of industry, what they try to do is they try to sell you. If you come to the realization you're not trying to sell someone, and if you're coming in there to provide them value and you're really sincerely trying to help them out, I think that's where it becomes easy. I think what we see a lot of people, and I was talking with a gentleman yesterday, and he's in insurance, but he was in health insurance, and he was telling me like all about the leads and how it's cutthroat and how he has to go here and he has like 25 other people going against him and everything. And I was like, I don't have to do that. And he's like, but you have competition. I said, I do. But for me, I feel confident that if I can sit down and have a discussion with someone and talk to them as a normal person and present it that way, then it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you go in with the aspect of trying to sell someone, people are going to be turned off by that. I think if you actually go in there and you genuinely care and you're genuinely having a discussion to get to know them and build that relationship, you'll be fine.
So when it comes to the insurance that you sell, it's primarily auto
Yeah.
and home.
Well, I mean,
Right.
we do. That's our primary focus.
Sure.
I mean, we also offer business insurance. We also do commercial insurance. I mean, I don't discuss a lot about that because when I opened my agency almost 6 years ago, we really put our focus on the residential side for the fact that that's what we wanted to build our base. Now that we're not a small agency anymore, we're more of a middle or mid agency. Now we're starting to branch into to go in there and represent different businesses and starting to put our focus there.
So, but talking about just the auto and home,
Okay.
when it comes to selling that type of product, it's kind of interesting because it's sort of a product everyone has to buy.
Correct.
If you own a home, you have to buy home insurance.
Right.
If you own a car, you have to buy auto insurance, right?
Correct.
So, what is it like being a business selling something that someone has to buy? Then is it as much sales? Like what, you know what I mean? Like you're not going in there saying like you ought to buy this, like they have to buy it.
Okay.
But you're going, what you do, I know at Suncoast Insurance Advisors, you go in saying you need to buy this policy,
Okay.
right? So you're having to, the salesmanship is the policy, not the product, right?
No, I think the salesmanship is the person. I think what separates what we do or what we're trying to accomplish is building a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I think every insurance agency out there sells a product. You know, you could go to any type of captive agent, any other independent agent. They have the same type or different representation with different carriers and so forth. But I think what we try to do is we focus on the relationship. I think that's the value that we're trying to present. A lot of agents or a lot of my peers out there, they don't. They go here and they come in, they check in today, and they're like, okay, here's what I have in front of me. This is what I need to do. I'm going to go through it, push through it, and they're like, okay, I'm going to sell a product. If I don't sell the product, oh, well, I'm on to the next. To me, I get upset or I feel I take it personal when I have someone who fires me, who goes off to another agent. I feel like to myself is that what could I have done better? What could I have done different? How was there a breakdown of communication? Because that's where I usually see where the wins and losses, or we see the tally on there, is usually when the losses come in here is there's a breakdown in communication. So for me, I take it as how could I communicate it? How could I communicate it or come up with something better to discuss with that client? That's where I see where I lose. If you go here and you sit me down with another agent and another agent's coming here like, hey, I'm pitching the same product, I'm going to probably, I feel more in what I feel from where I'm coming from, I feel I will win that more times than not because I truly do care. I truly will pick up the phone. I have been that person where, not unfortunately, but we're not a 9 to 5. I've had it where someone's called me on the weekend and say, hey, Ryan, look, this is what's going on. Can you help me? I have to take away from my family to reach out and then do that. Do I like to do that on a regular basis? No, because I want to respect my family and I also want to respect boundaries. But I also understood and I also understand what I signed on for. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So, speaking of that, I don't know what kind of monster would call you on a Saturday, like from a car dealership when they're trying to buy a van all of a sudden. I don't know who would do that.
Or how about what
a terrible guy to do that.
We do see that sometimes, and I also know for a fact, especially I get when people are going and buying houses, and I'm not going to name names.
Come on! I called you between 9 and 5 on that one.
And they'll ask you, or no, they didn't. I'll just say this: they didn't ask me. They sent me a text message, and they start texting me random questions around 9 and 9:30 at night. Not going to say any names. But it does happen. We do get those rarities because we understand we've all been in that situation.
I was the van guy. I don't know about that. Nah, come on. It wasn't 9:30 at night.
So if anyone's really wanting to know here, we're going to start, keeping a tally here. He was both occasions. Okay, both occasions. So
I might challenge you.
This is actually really good,
I
man.
told you, man.
It also gives you like a warm sensation inside.
That's what whiskey normally does.
Oh, I don't get that from beer. I like beer.
Side note, you can't say you're not a whiskey guy because you don't like beer.
I like beer.
You do like beer.
I do like beer.
So why'd you say you don't like whiskey?
It's because I usually don't find something that actually tastes decent.
Okay.
Because usually,
all right.
Okay,
we're going to get you on this podcast more often because we're going to start having more.
Oh my
whiskeys.
gosh! And then then you never know what's going to happen here. You don't.
Oh, we're sipping.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. With everything you're talking about with relationship building and all that stuff, that seems great for a salesman.
Right.
Why did you decide to start your own business and brand versus just doing that at another business as a salesman?
I'm going to be honest with you. I got tired for working for other people.
Why?
Because first of all, I saw that there's predatory owners out there, people who say that they're family, say that they are your family, and they're not. They're more about how much profits you bring into them. And I felt like I don't want to work for someone. I don't want to. I feel like there's enough false people out there that I didn't want to be that. And to me, I came to where this became more of a realization was when I started my own family. I have to look myself in the mirror every day. I also have to put my head on a pillow and be comfortable to go to sleep at night that what I'm providing, what I'm saying, and what I'm doing is right. And I felt like at some times that we were almost coming around, we're saying, hey, we're doing this to protect you and your family, or we're doing this because we care. We weren't. We were like, how much value is this person bringing? How much revenue is this person bringing? We get them in the door, and then we're on to the next. That's not what insurance is about. I think that's what not relationships are about. I mean, to be honest, that kind of like if we're on here to bring someone into the door, get what we want, and then we go on to the next. I think that's what we call Tinder, right? So I think we get what we want, we use it, and we go on to the next. That's not what we're here. We're not the tender of insurance. So I haven't found a website that we want to go into. Since I feel like Tinder's not a sponsor of this program either. Since I feel like we're going into a lot of brands tonight. So
Suncoast, we're not the Tinder.
We're not the tender of insurance.
We're not here to just that's Suncoast, not your one night stand. Okay, so you want to have your own brand and business that truly put people first inside your business and your clients naturally.
Correct.
You want to have more control of giving them the right service.
And the thing is I was good at sales. I mean, I am good at sales. Not was. I am good at sales, but the thing is, it's being your own agency owner and being your own owner of your own business, it's a lot of different hats. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's days that I wish that I was just a producer or a salesperson that just went here and just sold. But the thing is now in reality, I'm not just looking out for myself. I'm looking out for my employees. I'm looking out for outside of my clients. I'm looking out for my employees and their families. And so that's almost like a natural progression for me. And that's what I like about it is that I can go here and I can pass on what I want or pass on what we're trying to accomplish at Suncoast. I can pass that on to my employees and you're seeing it go that next level. And that's what's exciting. For me, it's not just about selling insurance now. It's for me is how can I go here and take our brand and what we're trying to accomplish here as an agency and how can I put that out there and not just be myself? How can I put our agency as a whole and put our message out there? And that's what I'm excited about. That's where I'm excited for me personally, because as we grow our agency and we have grown our agency, doubled each year, it's exciting to see that. I think that's what you want to see as a business owner. You want to see something that you took growing out of your own home, out of a small closet of an office to where now you have a few locations. And then, right now we're up to, we have 10 people currently. So that's exciting.
Yeah, because when I met you in 2019,
Yeah.
about a year after you started, right? Because you started Suncoast in 2018.
Yeah. We started October 2018. Yeah.
So, so I met you basically a year in,
Yeah.
and what would you say? Like, and so since then you've gone through the pandemic, you've gone
Yeah.
through multiple things.
Yeah.
As a business owner, what would you say is the thing that, like, you're past your honeymoon phase of starting a business? What and you kind of already said it, is explaining that
So am I in
the
am I in more of like the sleeping on the couch phase now? Where
no,
you're like, oh well, I did something bad today. I'll go sleep on the couch. Yeah.
um, no.
I have done a lot of crying on that too.
Well,
So
here's my question. Like,
right.
are you have you been sleeping on the couch? Like, what
No.
most business owners right now are feeling it after going through the last 6-7 years.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, what makes you excited about going to work in the morning, being a business owner?
For me personally, it's just seeing how I am able to touch other people and touch other people's lives, with like even within my own agency, to see them being successful. Because I think being a good business owner is that you want your employees or people that work with you to be successful, and that's where I get to see that. I get to see them. You get to see their wins, and for me, it's like when I was just a producer, I was excited about, oh my gosh, I wanted to get the kill. I wanted to get that sale, and then go on to the next. But in this aspect, I get to see. It's awesome to see people come to me and you see things just turning, and you have where you're touching people in their life and you're seeing them pass on your message. I think that's this thing that I get excited about, is you're creating a legacy. And that's what I look for, because right now, I've reached my short term goals for 5 years, and then we have our 10 year, and then we have our 20. God willingly, we're going to be doing this more than 20 years. I like what we do. I like what we're trying to accomplish, and I want to see how far we can take this, not just as being a local ambassador, but I would like this to take this, as a state ambassador, and maybe also start working this nationally. But I feel like I love being your community agent. I love being in the community. I love giving back. And I think that just deals for me where, I am a man of my faith. I think my parents instilled that into me when I was young. So I always believe in giving back. I always believe in the less fortunate. I was a Boy Scout as well. And I always like participating in how I can help enrich other people's lives. How can I go in there and help someone? And I think this is what I get to do this on a larger level. So it's not something that has ever changed for me. It's been ingrained for me ever since I was a kid. And now as an adult, I get to keep still doing that same thing. So that's what I love to do. That's what makes me get up every morning and be honored to do what I do.
What do you believe built your success at Suncoast? Because I would say Suncoast has been successful. You've grown every single year.
Yeah. I'm just the people I surround myself with, to be honest. I think it's the company you keep. And I think that's just from, the employees that I have in my life. My spouse, she's my rock. Trisha's been there from day one. She has that belief in me, and also just people that, not just people I network with, because I feel like there's people that I have in my life that are not just like friends, they're family. And I feel like if I have them in my life and I have these people in my corner, there's nothing that I can't accomplish. And I truly feel like that, because I feel like my friends are family. And as long as I have that in my life, I'll be successful.
So when it comes to your message and stuff like that, and the core that you said, by surrounding yourself with good people, how do you try to market that or show that to your audience?
I just think that's just from my, I think for what I need to do is just, for myself personally, is lead by example. I think you say what you do and you do what you say. And I think that's the best way of doing it. I think, but I also say this too, is people do make mistakes. I think also acknowledge them, man up to them, take that accountability or be accountable for what you have done and learn from them and you move on. I think that's the biggest thing that helps me or, helps me accomplish my goals currently. So, yeah.
So when it comes to being a business owner, how you would suggest maybe someone else who's in insurance or just someone else in general who owns a business, when it comes to marketing and how you've marketed your brand and helped grow your brand, sharing a good message, stuff like that, what are the mistakes you've made and what are the successes that you've made, like the good decisions you made versus the bad decisions maybe?
Well, I think every business owner is going to have wins and losses. And I think because unfortunately we don't have we don't have the cliff notes or, the big book of business in front of us. I mean, we can go to school for that. We can learn that. But I think, the real world is what's going to help us define that. I think for me, it's the relationships. It's relationships that I started off with. I think from going into networking, case in point, meeting you years ago. I mean, you don't know what you don't know. I mean, that's where it comes down to. And I think for me was, okay, let's trial and error. What's going to fit? I mean, you get in front of like cameras and you get in front and doing all these commercials and you're doing ads and you're like, oh my gosh, should I do this, this, and this? And then, sitting down with professionals and they're telling you like, just be you. Don't try to be something you're not. Be you. That's your message. If you're organic and you're being original, then it should come easy. And then people are going to see that. People are also going to see you, like if you're a fun-spirited person, be fun-spirited. If you're serious and and you want to come across like that, then be serious. But I think for me, what I've learned from you guys, in which I by far have been very happy, with Paper Jacket. So just throwing that out there, is that you guys capture the essence of myself and what we're trying to accomplish over at Suncoast. And I think that's something for you get to see that, and you get to see that behind the scenes, like from us, from doing what we've done for like BNI, we've done like skits doing that, but then also just sitting down with my employees who, oh my gosh, they feel like a nervous wreck. But then after they go through a day with you guys, they're like, oh my gosh, it wasn't as bad because you guys are professionals and you guys put us at ease. For me, dressing up as Santa, coming up with my fun ideas of, which we still have fun, crazy ideas we're going to be doing down the road, but just experimenting. And I think you guys understanding what we're trying to accomplish as a company and you're putting that on video has been remarkable and it's helped us out. And I think what a lot of people will try to do is you'll get like people call us all the time and they'll say, hey, I want you to pay for this ad. Or the last number one thing I get all the time is like people call me all the time like, hey, would you want to do paper ads? Like, to be honest, how many of you guys are reading newspapers nowadays? We're not. Right. Unless you're like 60s and 70s over at Del Webb over here. No offense. I like the Del Webb community. I love the retirees. Yep. But for myself is that's not marketing our generation.
No.
My generation is more of sitting on their cell phone whenever they have a brief moment, looking at it and going through their Facebook ads, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever. And that's my captive audience that I want to put focus. So my thought process was like, how can I get in front of them?
Well, there's a difference between doing social media,
right,
and video marketing.
But
I mean, obviously,
I think you go in hand in hand.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I like it because, like I said, my videos. Well, where are you going to put your videos at?
Right.
Am I going to put it on my VHS and watch it in my den at home, sipping my peanut butter whiskey?
Well, my point is that you could just like post on social media, like graphics or something like that, but you chose to go the video route. And why do you feel like the video was the right route for you? Because
people get to see who you are. I think, yes, I could go here and put a clip here and say Suncoast Insurance Advisors, providing all your needs. But they don't know who Suncoast is. Did they know that what we do? They know what products were provided. And I think that goes back to what we're trying to accomplish. I'm not just trying to sell a product. I want you to buy insurance from us because of who we are, because we're trying to build that relationship. That's why I think video, I know that's what video helps us capture and put it out there in our message as saying, hey, these are who these people are, because Suncoast Insurance Advisors really care. They care, and we're going to show this, and you can see this from how they're talking about how they interact with clients on a daily basis, and how we're just having daily interactions. And I think if you see and you get to know who we are, then you're going to feel more comfortable, and you're going to be more apt to sit down and have that conversation, and maybe in hopes that you will let us become your agent. That's what we're trying to broadcast, and that's what we're trying to put on video to let you know who we are.
Do you feel like it's the easiest way to share your message?
Absolutely. It's easy. It's the best way to put the message out there. I mean, what am I going to do? I like I said, I could go here all day and say, buy from Suncoast. You know, I could put here and have these like fancy graphics, but that's not what we're trying to accomplish.
Anybody can make
Anybody
can
do that, right?
I
get them on Facebook and Instagram all the time, where people are like, there's these agencies down in South Florida that are like, yes, like I said, there's other agencies out there. They feel like they want to just put a graphic up and say, we sell insurance, and that's great, but there's no substance to it. We don't want to just be all sizzle. You know what I'm saying? We want to have substance behind it. We want to be that. We want to be the full. We want to be the full meal. We want to be. You know, we want all of it above. We don't just want to be. God, you know, they do sell insurance and that's it. We want you to know who we are. And I think that's the best way. I think this is what this type of media has worked best for us. Period.
I mean, so I kind of came in as a client of you first.
Right.
And and I remember you asked me to do a testimonial as one of our video shoots. And I was like, well, that makes sense because I've been a client for years. And I said, and one of the things I just kind of came up with on the spot, because what I truly felt about what your brand tries to represent, I was like, State Farm might be your neighbor, but Suncoast is your friend.
Right.
The reason I felt that way is because, hey, there's been that moment
right.
where I needed to call you after business hours or something like that. And I was totally fine with you saying not available, but you could, it's always, again, like if your friend's not available, you're not going to be mad at them.
Right.
But if your friend's able to call, they do, and you always would. And like you go the extra step of saying, let me try to help you out here or do this thing over here. You give the information that's necessary. And you know, if I want to lower a policy, you're like, just be aware of some of these things. That's fine. You're just going to give me the story on both scenarios.
Right.
And it just, it always felt like it was a friend talking to me, not a business talking to me.
Right.
And I don't want to put down other brands per se, but I think that is what makes yours different from theirs, is that you try to go that extra mile with. And I know an agency has to have a lot of people. I know you have a large quantity of people, but the fact that you remember and know what a lot of these people, you know, like you know a lot of people, a lot of your clients by name, which I know it's like, of course, but when you have like 900 clients for just one person that you're managing and you remember their name, that is impressive. And you also remember their kids' names. You also remember where they live. You also remember, what they do for a living.
I do not stalk people. Just want to put that out there. So
no, but you know the information
but it does
to do the right protection. And that to me is what makes you good.
Yeah. Well, and I appreciate that. And the funny thing is like I get this all the time in my agency. Like, oh my gosh, how do you remember all these people's names? And it's like I remember all the way back. You know, my career's almost 18 years, and it's like I remember people. I have clients that have followed me all the way from that throughout my whole career, and it's these relationships because I cherish them. You know, and it's funny thing is like for you. Let's go back to you on this. To get Jeremy to do a review or even come out about it, it's hard. He doesn't do it, and he'll tell you like, I don't put reviews. I don't go out there and I don't put reviews out there because I don't want to be like everyone else. But that's okay.
That's not the reason.
Okay,
that's not the reason.
Yeah, whatever. So, anyways, but for him to get you to do a review, you have to be astonishing. Okay, so I just want to throw that out there. Remarkable. So we know this to be true. So, but
Well, for the audience to understand, I do not give a review unless I am actually a client.
Correct.
And I
Correct.
also will not give a review if I don't have the best thing to say.
Well, but
This is why I'm like, you gotta. Here's what I'll say about it. I give every waiter, waitress a 10. I should say, I guess the proper word is server now. I give every server a 20% tip. Right.
Right.
The time I give that extra 20% is when they've just gone above and beyond.
Right.
To me, that's when I'm giving someone a review. So. So I just want to mention that for the audience.
I was just trying to make a point that he's very selective on what he gives.
It's true,
out there.
and that's
and
why
you should
I gave
be.
You
don't want to be disingenuous.
It's true.
I don't think you want to be disingenuous out there, because you see that all the time where people are like, we get it all the time where the people are like, hey, can you do a review for me? Can you do it for do a review for me? Like, hey, can you go to my Google? Can you do my Instagram? And I get it, because a lot of people. They do is they look at your Google page, they look at your website, they look at like your Google pages, they see your Google reviews from your Yelp to whatever, and they feel like, well, if this person has like 100 5-star reviews, they got to be great. And then, oh my gosh, they have 2 or 3 1-star reviews. They must have done something wrong. I'm going to be honest with this, and I'm going to put this out here because I always feel like people just skim over it. People put more negativity out there than positivity. I mean, they're not positive out there. And to get someone to put a positive review, it's like literally me dragging them to the computer, taking their hands and going here and having them do this. It is hard. And it's frustrating because we all know that we do an exceptional job. And I hear it all day where I've had people cry on the phone. They're like, oh my gosh, you saved me thousands of dollars and this has helped me out. And I'm like, can you put it in a review? They're like, oh yeah, I'll do it in 5 minutes. Nothing. Mm-hmm. And the thing is like, I know we do a great job, and I know what we're trying to accomplish. And I know my company does a great job, but we don't have all those wins out there. And it's hard because you get one negative review and people are like, oh yeah, I understand. All insurance companies are that way, or all insurance agencies. They all just want to make $1. It's not true. Look, we have families. We understand, and we're here to try to help you through those struggles and through the good times and the bad times. Period. So when I say this as being a small business owner, don't judge people on the small amount of losses they have, but judge us about the wins that we get, and especially the wins that are not recorded.
Sure.
I mean, because if I went here and you start talking, I guarantee you people will be like, oh yeah, I recognize him, or I recognize his brand. I know his logo. That's what we're trying to accomplish, and that's what we're starting to succeed. People know us throughout the community, and that's what we're building. Just because I don't have it on my Google page or have in my review says, he did a great job, 5 stars, awesome. Who's putting that on there? Mm-hmm. Are they hiring a service to go do it? You don't know. So don't let things mislead you, period. I'm off my rant off that one. So
the more you know. Yeah, no, I hear you a lot. I mean, that is the reality of social media too. I feel like it's just a place where people can be as mean as they want. It's like a place without consequences in a sense.
That's why you have trolls.
Oh yeah,
they can hide behind it, and then when you do call them out, they're like, "How dare you?" Mm-hmm. Well, how dare you hide behind there and make these accusations?
But because there are people
that
are leaving. Like, let's go on this route.
Right.
Because there are people that leave bad reviews and stuff like that. And how I feel most business owners should do is just simply represent yourself well.
Right.
And it's like, so someone's like, this person's a jerk, and you're like online a lot, sharing videos and stuff like that, being as raw as possible, as genuine as possible. I'm not talking about like all promo videos. I'm talking about like you're making a lot of social media content just to be out there and to be present, and stuff like that. I feel like if you're showing your true character online and someone says a bad review, it's easily ignored. You know what I mean? Because if you hear someone say, "Hey, have you ever met this person?" No. Oh, they're a jerk. You're gonna take their word for it. But if you've seen that person around like they're a jerk, you're like, I've never gotten that vibe from them.
Right. I
mean, that is kind of society now. That's why I do believe a lot in putting yourself out there on video and stuff like that. I mean, truth be told, there's a reason why I like being behind a camera.
Well, I get that, but I think, and I say this as society, we need to do better.
Sure.
And I say that when we need to do better, and I'm saying it's all of us, is for the fact that I catch myself, and I think this is being mature about this, and this is having a filter, is that I'm not going to go here and put someone down without knowing who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And if I feel like I'm catching it because I heard something or hearsay, I'll stop myself. And I'm like, yeah, I heard something, but I really don't know it to be true. And so my question is, if you heard something and you go in here and broadcast it, that's gossip.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not something that we're trying to, you don't want that to go out there.
I want to go back to something you said earlier.
Okay.
Regarding sales. You
Okay.
realize if I just go on to constantly sell, I don't do well. If I go to give value,
Right.
that's actually what makes me a good salesman.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned networking before, and by the way, when we talk about video marketing, when we talk about social media, it is just a different strategy of networking.
Correct.
When you go to network, how do you network at like BNI or places like that,
Mm-hmm.
and how do you use that same strategy inside social media?
I mean, I really don't think it's much of a difference. I don't think it's really different. Is that you're going here and you're building relationships, and it's just a different platform.
How do you build relationships? Do you build a relationship
I
by
think
introducing yourself, or by
I think it starts with an introduction, but then you go here and you get to know people. I think you get to know them and you know what they're about. You know what their business is about. And then you go here, and then if you're impressed by them, then you become a client of theirs. Because I think that's where, again, the next level is trust. And if you feel that you can trust this person, then you're like, okay, I want to work with them because I feel like what they're trying to accomplish is a great thing. And I think that's what we take in with like networking itself is that, I see people all the time, they'll go here and they join a networking group and they'll start spending money with people because they want to show that they're part of something. I tell people, I'm like, look, let's get to know each other first before you start promoting me. Let me present my value. Let me do this. Let me earn your trust first, and then we can go on to that. I think that's the same thing that we're trying to do. I think going and doing smaller networking groups and stuff like that, that's on a smaller scale. And then when you start doing social media, I think that's a larger scale. You're still asking people to trust you. I think that's where it comes back with video, is that you're putting yourself out there. You're being raw. You're putting yourself out there and saying, look, this is who I am. I want you to trust me because that's what my industry is about. You're trusting me with your finances. You're trusting me with your home. You're trusting me with your life. That's what we're doing is we're being raw and we're putting ourselves out here. And I don't think that you can get that across with every media platform out there.
The way I think about networking when I go to a networking group, obviously, an introduction is involved. It's okay to talk about yourself in that situation. Right. You are trying to sell something at the end of the day. You're trying to help, provide, but at the end of the day, you're trying to provide value.
Right.
When I'm at a networking group, I'm amongst business owners. We're all just trying to help build each other's referrals and stuff like that. So the value I try to bring is how can I help you in your business?
Right.
And how can I bring you business?
Right.
Right. So on social media,
right,
we're talking sometimes with business owners, sometimes to more of a B2C in that situation. At the end of the day, we're talking to people.
Right.
And why do people go on social media? It's to be inspired, educated, or entertained, right? If we're not going in and if we're doing anything on social media, we need to be doing one of those three things. Actually, our rule is to be doing two of those things always. So you're either if you're trying to go with education, you do it in an entertaining or inspirational way. Right. If you're going to be inspiring, you try to provide some educational tips or entertainment while you're presenting that.
Right.
If you're trying to be entertaining, you try to give an ounce of inspiration or education inside that, right? Like, that's what people are going to social media to do. You are giving them value automatically. And if you give them value, they'll give you engagement. If you gain engagement, if you gain their engagement, you then gain exposure. More exposure with your brand, obviously, will give you opportunities to sell and stuff like that. And I think that's where people get it wrong.
Right.
Is that they are leading with value and stuff like that. But when people say value, they think, oh, yeah, download my free ebook. I'm not talking about that. I mean, while that can be a good lead marketing campaign, That's not how you begin.
No.
The way you've always done it is the educational and entertaining kind of side.
Correct.
And you're going in saying, all right, you're probably wondering, like, here's what I know about insurance. I'm just going to share this knowledge with you.
Right.
If you're interested in it, here it is. If you're not, move on. But here it is. It's right. Like, I'm not selling anything to you. I'm not giving you a price. I'm not even really giving as much of a call to action. Besides, if you have more information, call. If you want to talk about it more, call me. But ultimately, I'm just trying to help educate you. And that was kind of, or sometimes take a break from education and just entertain some of the skits we've done.
Right.
Why you weren't doing that in the beginning, but you're doing that now? Why are you deciding to do? Why did you feel like it was necessary to do that? And why did you feel like Paper Jacket was the right source to do that with?
Because I think what we're trying to now focus upon is that there's an evolution. I think you start in here, and it's what one of my friends said is that, if you want to be known, you have to put things out there. You have to put yourself out in media. If not, you're just going to be obscure. And I don't want. I mean, I can be comfortable sitting and being my own agent, not having employees, just going here and just doing my normal thing, and not worry about all the additional stress. But that's not me. Mm-hmm. For me, it was, I really wanted to try to put our brand out there. And I think this, going back to this, is that at first I was uncomfortable being behind the camera, because I kind of felt like, to me, it's like, and I say this is because I kind of felt like a camera can also pull out your flaws. And to me, I don't like to be uncomfortable. I don't like to be raw with a lot of people, because I think some of us, we want to put up not a facade. I think we want to put up a guard. Sure. And I think that because you don't want everyone to see everything. But I think that's one of the things I learned with you guys. It's okay to be that way, because what you're trying to do is you want to be genuine. And I think that's what I've learned from this type of engagement is I get to be genuine. I get to be who I am and not feel like I'm putting up a front, not feel like I'm putting up a facade trying to sell myself to you. This is who I am. If you like it, great. If you don't, that's okay too. And I always try to even say that even within my industry, when I sit down with clients, I'm like, look, I tell people every day, I'm like, I might not be the best agent for you, or I might not be the agent for you. That's okay. If you're not comfortable with the relationship that you're getting from me, or you're not comfortable with the relationship we have, there's other agents out there. I encourage you to go find them. I encourage what's going to be best for you.
Yeah, last thing you need is someone who hates your guts, but
right. And it's like it's like someone being in a miserable marriage.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, I hate this person, and I'm like, why are you married to them? Well, where else am I supposed to go? And I'm like, I don't know, somewhere less miserable. I mean, I guess, I don't know, but the same thing is, I think this has been an awesome relationship for us. I think this because I say this from what all my employees come in here. They're like so scared. We would do like a video day with you guys, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, what should I do? I'm so afraid." And like this, I'm like, just be yourself. If you be yourself, then you really have nothing to be scared about it. Because if you're being genuine, you're not putting a facade, then you don't have to sit here and second guess yourself. Like, oh my God, did I say this? Did I do this or whatever? Do I need to backtrack something? And especially in my industry, like, your word is your bond. And sometimes we get afraid, like, oh my God, did I have that recorded? Look, just be yourself and you'll be fine. And I think that's what we get from this type of media is you get to be genuine. And it comes easy.
What was the light bulb of like, oh, I truly can be more comfortable and genuine? Like, where was the light bulb?
Actually, what I'll say the light bulb is that about a year ago when I got to actually be Santa and actually kind of experiment, and then actually you took feedback from me, because other places that I've sat down with, and I'm not saying just for like video, but other type of marketing that I have, they'll tell you and they'll try to sell you their ideas of how you should be running your business. They're trying to pitch you on what they think that you could be successful at. What you guys have taken is like, you listen to our input. You ask us like, well, what do you think? What value do you want to bring? How do you want us to project you? Like, what do you feel comfortable with? And I think that's what sells us, instead of you trying to say, look, I represent this other insurance agency. This is what's been successful for them. Maybe you should try this. Well, you don't look at that. You don't try to put us in a box and say, okay, well, this is nice and pretty. This has worked for us in the past. This has worked for these other industries. You go here and try to tailor fit what is going to be good for us. And you're pulling out what we are and who we are out and making us feel comfortable about it. So I think that's what's worked for us. And I said this over the course of the last year, been doing all these fun, crazy skits and, going here. I've always liked video, even when I got married. And I'm going to say this, like when we had a videographer and we were doing videos and we were doing photos, like our engagement. And I remember I was down in Seminole Heights and we were at a bar in Seminole Heights. And I remember our photographer and videographer was coming to us and they're like, okay, just act natural. I'm like, says you with behind the camera, holding the camera with a light on. There's people in the background here who are just patrons going, who the hell are these people? And you're saying be natural and like look lovey-dovey to my future wife. And that's where I was like, okay, so that's what I thought I was going to get into when I was sitting down with you guys. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be uncomfortable, be put in these awkward positions, like this, whatever. And it was never that. You guys have always made it at ease. And I can always say that that's what I've always enjoyed on this. I actually enjoy sitting down with you and your team because you guys always make me feel comfortable because you listen to me and you listen to what I'm trying to put on video and we have that common goal and that's what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, that's why we always say we don't want you to rely on having to come up with all your own ideas. We come up to help you with those, but we're not like ignoring you either.
No, but it's hard. I mean, like when I first sat down with you guys initially, you're like, okay, here's the ideas. And I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to have these ideas. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're asking me. I'm like, you're the professional. Can you pull it out of me? And you guys kind of did. I mean, you did. You're like, okay, well, I'm going to go do some homework here. And I'm going to go see like what you do in your industry, which is kind of funny because it actually educated you on what we do. And you're like, oh, now I understand. But I guess the light bulb went off for you as well. But for me, it did. I mean, for me, it was like, okay, you come up with these ideas. You're like, okay, this is how I think you want to try to do. You're trying to accomplish that. You're trying to be someone within the community. And I see this all the time. And I'm going to say this is I see people who go and do their own videos. They're great. They're funny. People try to do that. And I'm not one of those people. I am not. I can think outside the box and all this, but I always feel like you need a higher professional to do it. Because I see people who do this, and some of the stuff that I see out there, it's fake. Mm-hmm. And I think that's not what you're going to see, what you guys are trying to help us accomplish, is you're not going to see that fakeness. You're not going to see that facade. Like, let me tell you about, like, I've lived in this area my whole life, and this is what I feel like I can give this value to this. Look, I'm not trying to do that. What I'm trying to do is like, look, I'm a family man that lives here, and I interact with all your families. I like to be that guy that you can go to discuss and help you out with your insurance needs, period. I want to be that guy. I want to be that guy that you're out there and Johnny Joe's out there and on the football field and you see our banner out there because you know what? We're supporting the community. We're supporting your local teams. We're supporting this. I want to see that's what we're trying to do. Not because I'm trying to get enough clicks here to hope that you like me enough to buy something from me. That's not what I'm trying to accomplish. And that's not what we're here for. And that's not what you guys are trying to accomplish.
You're trying to provide value to them.
Right. But it doesn't come
before
as
they
hokey.
Provide value to you.
And I think that's what we've seen on here is I've seen this with other people out there. They do their own things and they do it from their own little podcast room, which could be their closet or whatever. And I don't want to be that.
Ryan, thanks for taking some time to chat and everything.
No, thank you. Hey, I've always enjoyed this, and I hope to do more of these in the future. And maybe if we can get like a jam one, if we get like a peanut butter and jam, that'd be awesome. I love peanut butter and jelly.
I don't think they make something like that.
Oh my God.
But I you know what? They probably do, and I probably would hate it. But
you wouldn't want to take like one swig of the peanut butter and the one.
You know what I
have
jelly? Done is I put chocolate bitters with peanut butter before. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not exactly Reese's, but it gives a little bit of that.
Have you ever done like? Do you like goat cheese?
Yeah.
Have you ever had chocolate goat cheese?
No.
Phenomenal.
No. Yeah.
Phenomenal. You get it with a little bit of strawberries.
I can't
you
remember.
You know what you need to do is you need to like come to Morgan one morning. When the kids are comatose. Come and bring her some like delicious, like they're asleep, like a heavy sleep. You can come in and bring her like some some nice things. All right, cheers, man. Awesome.
Thank you. Thanks for watching or listening to the Paper Jacket Podcast. Remember, if you're looking for any type of media, whether it be photo, video, or a podcast of your own, come check us out at paper-jacket.com, where we can elevate your brand to new levels. I also encourage you to subscribe to our channel, either on YouTube or anywhere you get your podcasts. See you next time.